Hey, welcome to Steve Davis Show. Special guest today is Manny Otero, the West Mesa state champions of 2019 in 5A, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Almost, you got me all choked up. We were talking about the state championship, about all those close games and everything, and kind of, it's funny how you have emotions, but how you have affect other people in the stands. And I think I was very, very one person to say that this is my Cinderella team. I wanted to see you go all the way, and you got it done. And usually I'm down the middle, but this was one I really wanted to see you get it done.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. We're just excited to be there and get the opportunity. We had came up short a couple of years before. We had really good years, really good regular seasons, and then we fell short in the playoffs. But I'm just so happy for the girls to get a chance to experience the state championship and enjoy those special moments.
Well, I tell you what, you set the tone 3 years ago in the Metro tournament. That was El Dorado. I was there watching that game,
Yeah.
and I watched you spread the offense out and just beat maybe a more talented team. But you could just see that's when your team started growing over the last 3 years.
Yeah, that Metro tournament, I think it was the semifinals against El Dorado, kind of put us over the top, and then we beat a real tough team in Hope Christian that year, who was ranked in the top 100 teams in Max Preps, and that really gave us the confidence that we could play with anybody, and our girls took it from there.
Well, and then that's transponded to the next year. You go ahead and win the Metro Championship, and that's 2 years in a row. And then this year you do it 3 years in a row, but it just seemed like it was you put so much, not so much pressure, but that was what you wanted. The blue trophy was the whole goal for your team and everybody on the coaching staff.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The blue trophy was always in our mind, but we got to enjoy the process and take it day by day, and that's the hard part about having a good team. It's a great thing to have, but the expectations were the final result, and I was trying to get to my kids is you got to enjoy each moment of each win, and don't overlook any opponents, and enjoy this process, because we don't know how good we have it, and when it's gone, it's going to be tough.
Well, you started. The expectations were high. I just remember doing the Los Lunas game. It came in, and it was such a great reward for Pro View, and also your fans. I want to thank the hospitality your fans have given Pro View. That we did a girls' game, and I was like, Adam and I showed up, and it was a big deal. It was, it was a great opportunity for us, but it was also just two great programs with Zeller and yourself and in the city. And I just wanted to let people know that we're just not all about boys basketball. We support girls basketball just as much.
Yeah, you guys do an awesome job, and we appreciate that. And the girls look forward to going home and listen to the commentating, and the parents are always asking about how do we get ProView videos, and it's a big deal for us, and we're fortunate to have you guys do the coverage you do for all sports, not just basketball.
I tell you, this year, what a great start. This was I tell you what a tough schedule. When you looked at that schedule at the beginning of the year, I'm looking at this, I was like, wow, what were you thinking when you were?
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. I was looking at if we can just get through this the beginning of the schedule, hit district and finish top two, I think we'll be okay to get a pretty good seed in state, because I think we had the toughest district in state by far, with having La Cueva, Pedro Vista, Farmington, and El Dorado.
Well, I'll tell you what, Pedro Vista and Farmington, they kind of put everybody to sleep during the year. It was like all of a sudden, because it was like you and McQuaven, and it was Hobbs, everybody's talking about Carlsbad, and I'm like following this, and then district starts, and all of a sudden it was a tough district.
Well, it's hard we don't really see them much in person because they're in Farmington, and their schedule's different from ours, so we don't see much but tape, and kind of sometimes it's hard to gauge a team based on tape, and it's hard to simulate Pedro Vista's speed and simulate Vasquez, her height and her ability to play at Farmington until you actually play them. So it's kind of a tough route to take.
Well, plus, one thing that you did a good job, you were road tested. You had a tough schedule. You went down to Hobbs and Carlsbad and won back to back, and that, that doesn't happen either in boys and girls, in any sport really. To do that back and back, that just shows you how mentally tough and prepared you were. So that kind of prepared you for the road trips that you were going to see in Farmington and Pedro Vista, because those are tough venues to play at.
Tough, and
because they take basketball very seriously. I mean, baseball and basketball, that is something that they take very serious.
Yeah, Hobbs is a really tough game. We won at the
and
buzzer.
Softball. I want to throw in softball too.
Yeah, softball. They're tough in every sport, and they're such a big school where they have so many kids, and their community gets behind them, supports them. But I was so happy to see Emily Burke hit a 3-pointer, 25-footer right at the buzzer, and it couldn't end any better for us that game. It was an awesome game.
Well, we'll get into in the next segment. We'll get more, and we'll break down some of your highlights of getting to the finals. But the whole season, though, it just seemed like y'all, you had the. I think sometimes there's a good loss, and you had some losses at the right time to kind of let you know that we're not invincible, and two things can happen with that. All of a sudden, they freak out that they can be beat, or they can say, "Hey, we need to get together and get camaraderie and focus a little bit better and take care of the year."
You're exactly right. As a coach, we never want to lose, and I'd rather take a bad win than a tough loss, but then. Our girls responded really well. They know what we have to pick up some areas that we got to work on and kind of focus more on the defense. People see our offense and say, hey, they're great offensively. They do a lot of great things, but we do well. We take pride in is our defense and our press and limiting teams to one shot because of being so small. It's a team rebounding. It's team defense. We don't have any really bigs that dominate, so it has to be a team effort.
Well, I think the word you just said is team and also unselfishness. I mean, it was fun for Adam and myself to do the games because just to watch the ball movement and finding the open person or the open woman in a thing, and it was just great to see your strategy and see your things. I've been watching you now pretty close for the last 3 years, so I can almost I see your tendencies and everything, but what you did with your players, the players became an extension of you. I mean, it wasn't like you were. I go back to that, your first year, like, all right, we won the Metro, but you were coaching and you were, Dale. Now you took the last couple of years, you've taken your time in your battles when to assert yourself.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to be patient when you have great talent around you. When I have these talented girls, it makes us a lot better coach, because, without the girls' talent, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today, but they deserve all the credit, and they worked so hard to get where they were at, and they listen to detail, they're focused, and they're just a great bunch of girls to be around.
Well, we're going to come back and watch some highlights of your quest to winning the Blue Trophy.
Sounds good.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We got Manny Otero, West Mesa girls basketball, 2019 5A state champions. How's that sound?
I love the way it sounds.
Well, that had a little motion in it, a little fired up, you know. But it wasn't easy, was it, sir?
Oh no, it was difficult, and it was worth it. Well worth it though.
We're going to let you kind of take over here. We're going to, you know, we got some highlights with the Oñate game, the first game after the district coming in second place, but starting, you know, you finished in the top. Here we go. At home court, you love that, don't you?
Oh yeah, Cece Barella with a 3 in the wing. We have Emily Burke to Esperanza run the floor.
Unselfish
here.
play, a little fast break.
Esperanza on the pass here. Jazzy with a good shot.
Little post play that is, you know, look at that give and go right there. Oh, that's awesome.
Maya reading the defense. Crystal on the finish. And missed those two. Esperanza to.
And I don't know why you're yelling on the sidelines, man. Look at this, but these highlights are pretty good, man. Unselfish play, open, you know, finishing the shots, everything you can ask for.
Yeah, they played really awesome this game, and we got out to a good start. We played Oñate the last 3 years, and they were a 14 seed. We were a 3 seed the last 3 years, so it's pretty common to play Oñate in the first round.
You know, one thing I wanted to really bring up is, you know, you look in the stands and your community and all the last 3 years have been unbelievable support for this group of young ladies.
Yeah, it's been awesome. You get a lot of alumni coming in there, people with a state, people with a APS coming back in that are high ranking in their positions, and they give us all that support, and it's good to see that we're Mustangs still, and I was class of 73, I was class of 75, whatever it is, and people really proud to be a Mustang, and it makes our girls feel well and feel great, and we just appreciate all the support.
Well, next opponent going to the Dream Style Arena of the Pit. You know, that's a little change in format that maybe be good for you because your Santa Ana wasn't that good.
Oh yeah, we'd much rather play in the Pit.
Well, I tell you, you come into here against a hot Mayfield team, George Maya. What more can you ask for when you know somebody that you don't want to play against?
Yeah, we had played them earlier in the year, and it was close the first half, and then we pulled away the second half. But George did a good job preparing the girls, and they're real physical and tough and a lot bigger than us. But our girls shot the ball well, and fortunately at the end here, this girl missed the shot. But God, they were a tough team. They were a tough team to play against.
And that's kind of, you know, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but it was like that was a big. You know, every game's big. When everybody says, "Oh, this was a big game," well, that was more of a, you know, hey, a relief. I think, you know, we're finally getting to move to the next game.
Exactly, because we had lost we lost to El Dorado and Rio Rancho the years before in the quarterfinals, and it was getting over the hump. It was like that hump you're talking about, and I think once the girls overcame that, it was more belief, and there's momentum kept on building up, and the very next, leading into the next game would be Pedro Vista, a team that we had lost 3 times to. Once they got us pretty good by 10 or more, and then
that was on the road.
On the road,
and you're coming off a high. You're coming off the Metro Champ. I mean,
yeah.
I can talk for you a little bit on that, but I'm just saying that's really what happened. They came in. You had a target on your back, and they came at you.
We had we were on a 16-game winning streak, and we went up to play them, and they ran us out the gym. Usually we press with them and press teams, but they're pretty athletic. They're really athletic. So we have to change our style up a little bit and hopefully be closer in the game to have a better chance to win at the end.
So kind of back on that moment, you just beat, you know, you beat Mayfield, and then you look and you know you're going to play Pedro Vista. What was the mindset of your girls, because they've been beat 3 times, but the other 2 games they all were 2-point games. They came down to the wire.
I just told our girls that all the pressure's on them. They have to beat us 4 times in one season. And that's very difficult to beat any team 3 times, then much less 4. And our girls were totally confident in it. We know that we could play with them. We just had to play smart at the very end and close out the game.
Well, let's kind of look at some of those highlights of that Pedro Vista game, and another good crowd, good emotional crowd, and the 3-point shots were going in for you.
Yeah, we had a hot start. Cece had 5 threes the first half, It got us really going, and then from there we played pretty well. We had, I think, 10 threes. We were 10 for 16 from threes that game. So I thought we got fouled
Well,
there.
I tell you what,
that
it
was
was
kind of rough one there, but went to overtime, and our girls came through. We were down 2 points here. Emily made a basket. And then Maya took over this game here towards the end, and thank God they missed that shot off the backboard. From my angle, it looked good.
Your heart was going a little bit.
I was stressing. Oh my God, it's gonna go in. It's gonna go in. And then when it fell off, it was such a relief. And there's another hump we overcame. So it was just a great moment for us, for our program, to have a chance to play for that last game to win a state championship.
I tell you, like you said, you went into overtime in that game, and it just seemed like your players stepped up. It wasn't like, I mean, the word, all right, we've lost this team. Is this going to happen again, or is it, hey, this is our opportunity to move forward?
Yeah, there was no doubt in our girls, and that's a tribute to, to Maya Rivas and Jan Martinez and Espi Vados, our seniors, along with Emily Burke and Jazzy, who've been with us for 3 years, and they have great experience. And it seems like no moment's too big for them. They step up and play better the bigger the game, so I have total confidence in them.
I tell you what, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the Hobbs Eagles and talk about your preparation before that game, and because Hobbs Eagles were one of the hottest teams coming into the state tournament.
Yes, they were.
So let's take a little break and come back and talk about the Hobbs Eagles and the West Mesa State Championship 2019.
High school sports are back. The 2018-19 season kicks off, and you could watch every ProView Network broadcast live on the NFHS network. Every moment, from every game, from every sport, including all NMAA state championships. Get your highly discounted monthly pass now. Go to ProViewNetworks.com and sign up. Watch New Mexico's best.
Hey, welcome back to the Steve Davis Show. We got Manny Otero, the 2019 5A state champions for the West Mesa girls basketball team. I changed that up a little bit. I didn't want to get you. I wanted to change that, but that's a great feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome. We're enjoying it, and it's been 2 months now, and it still feels, we're still in shock and awe, and we're excited, and we're living on cloud 9 right now.
I tell you, this Hobbs Eagles, I mean, I watched them, I tell you, I wanted to thank all the participants in the state tournament this year. This state tournament may be one of the best tournaments, from semifinals to finals in all classes. The scores were, I mean, if you're a fan of basketball, and thrillers, like overtimes, last second shots, free throw. I mean, anything that you could see or want to see in basketball, it happened in almost every day in every game.
Yeah, and you got to be, like Coach Holdman back in the day used to mention all the time, that you have to be good, but you do have to be lucky to win a state championship, and he was ever so right about that. So the ball fell right a couple of times for us, and we took it from there.
Let's get into this. Watch this. These highlights, and a good moment. Hobbs, I tell you what, very athletic, a team that you beat on the road, and you knew your hands were full.
Yeah, these girls are really long, real athletic. They guard the ball real well, and they get out on the break and push. Our job was to be efficient. With this team, you can't let possessions go to waste. We knew we weren't going to get too many offensive rebounds because of their height, so we had to be efficient on offense to make sure.
But you attacked them, okay? I mean, you look at the game before, and you were hitting a lot of threes. And in this game here, you attacked their strength, and it got them in foul trouble.
Yeah, they got in foul trouble in the first half, and it seemed like toward the second half.
Look at that crowd! Look at that crowd!
The crowd was awesome. Yeah, the crowd was.
This is a 5A championship, and there's not too many seats available.
Maya was going off right here, a little step back, and she's going to be missed. She's a special player.
Well, what's going through your mind right there?
Oh my God, I couldn't even tell you right now. We were so excited and just relieved. For coming off those 2 losses in the quarterfinals, when the expectations were so high for our program, it was a sense of relief when we won. As much as we were excited, it's like, oh, we finally did it, and it was finally like that off our back, that pressure that they had, and finally the satisfaction. All the work finally paid off for them, and we're, like I said, we're still enjoying it. I'm still smiling about it. We're still excited.
Well, going back to that moment, I mean, you know, how special was it, you know, when, you know, the announcer announced each player's name, and then when they announced your name, and it just seemed like the whole thing erupted when they announced your name of winning the state championship.
Yeah, it was a special moment, and a lot of thoughts are going through your mind, and one of those thoughts is just, like I said, is that I was just so happy for the girls to finally complete the mission that they were trying to accomplish for these 4 years.
Well, I kind of touched on it, but I know your dad was watching, and that was special.
Yeah, and I could feel his presence all the time, and on the way to the game, I can hear him talking to me to be patient. You're okay. You got this, and all the motivational stuff he used to tell me, and then and I just go back and replay it in my mind what he would tell me at this moment, and I know he's watching over us now. I wish he could be here today to see it.
Well, that's special to you because he played for West Mesa, and to see, you know, and to you to win the state championship, and using a lot of philosophies that he learned from Norm Ellenberger and John Wisnett, and he's taught you as you were growing up and playing, and to see all that kind of reflected on me, to see that, you know, it's amazing.
And that's exactly right. Since I was like 5 or 6 years old, I'd be at West Mesa when he was coaching with Fred Romero there back in the day, and seeing how he coached, his demeanor, the things that you learn from Ellenberger, the defensive intensity, the pressure, and kind of those things I try to implement into our style of game, and
the spread game.
Spread game too, yeah. Well, when we have girls that they can't guard us, we have to spread them out a little bit. And it's usually a spread to score, not to stall. But
no, I know.
Our girls get a little sometimes, and it works out sometimes. But the girls they know how to run that offense, and they're really effective with it.
Well, it's over. What's next?
What's next is next year, right away. We're looking into traveling this summer to New Mexico State to play in a team camp, and we'll also play at UNM for the team camp.
And, you know, real quickly, talk about, you had some personal best from some of your players, and you know, that's got to be a great tribute to you and your athletes.
Yeah, I had Jennifer Martinez. She's a 4-year starter. She scored over 500 points for us, and she played 3 sports. Great athlete. We had Esperanza Vados, who got accepted into Army West Point, and actually going to be playing for my old coach in college, Dave McGarity. And it's how prestigious is that to get into that school. And then we also had Maya Rivas, who had an outstanding year, who's a USA Today Player of the Year, and she'll be going to Highlands this year. So we're really proud of those girls.
So what's your expectation next year? You know, as you start, I mean, this is a team that you built over 3 years. You lost a lot of things. Now it's kind of, what do you have?
Our biggest thing now is going to be able to compete and be focused on each game at hand. Emily Burke and Jazzy Cordova are going to be leading us.
They're going to be solid players.
Yeah.
So they're going to be solid. It's not like.
And I think they get overlooked often because how good Maya and Esperanza are. But those girls are really good. I think they could score well over their average is 10 points a game. They could probably score a lot more, but we're so balanced. But we're going to depend on them to score a lot more this year.
And this summer, you got some camps you're going to go to and things.
Yeah, we're going to go down to New Mexico State and play in the team camp there, and then we'll come back at the end of the month and play for the UNM camp.
Well, I'll tell you, those are pretty competitive camps,
Yes.
and it's a good for your team. It's probably a good let them grow and develop, and I think the big, and I'm speaking probably out of turn or anything, but just is finding the new leadership and who's going to take over the responsibilities of the people that have graduated.
Yeah, it's like I mentioned, it'd probably fall on Emily and Jazzy, but we have some younger girls that are coming up that played real well on JV, and who practiced every day with our varsity last year. But it's their turn to step up, and I have no doubt that they'll be fine. We'll be good next year.
I tell you, again, I want to really talk about the community. I mean, I know that we saw in the pit, or the Dream Style Arena, the pit, that the amount of people that were there, but also you saw that, you know, the football team was, you know, like you go to games, the football team would be there, the cheerleaders would be there. I mean, it was just not just women's sports. It was the whole community, the whole high school that was all involved, and that has to do with a lot of the administration. I mean, you know, Sean Shire, you know, I mean, he coaches the boys, but just the whole school in itself.
Yeah, it's a big it's a big deal for West Mesa for girls basketball and boys basketball, but the school gets behind somebody, and sort of the community, and we had city councilmen give us proclamations. We had the Bernalillo County give us proclamations, and it's just awesome to see that the community appreciates all the hard work that these girls did for themselves and for the community.
Well, Manny, I want to thank you a lot for coming on the Steve Davis Show.
Thank you very much for having me.
And awesome to have the Blue Trophy.
Thank you.